Welcome to Mr. Chalk's Revision Tips. In this video we will look at roots, the stem and the leaf. So plant cells and tissues and organs are adapted to their functions. Right? The three main parts of a plant that we need to know about are the stem, the root and the leaves. So roots in vascular plants typically lie below the soil and absorb water and minerals. The stem has a main role in transporting things from the roots up towards the leaf and also helps the plant grow and get taller so its leaves can get more sunlight. And the leaves are adapted to carry out photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process that a plant uses to make glucose. So plants have two specialised tissues to carry water and nutrients. So xylems transport water and mineral salts from the roots up the plant. Transport in the xylem is a physical process. It does not require energy. They have strengthened walls that are kind of loose and hollow at the end, so they're made up of xylem cells which are hollow, and they become strengthened by a chemical called lignin. So the cells in the xylem are no longer alive, so the lignin helps give them support to help keep them upright. A phloem moves nutrients in the plant in both directions. So phloems are made from sieve tubes, so these are specialised for transport and have no nuclei. Each sieve tube has a perforated end so that the cytoplasm it connects with can go and connect with the next sieve tube. Around them they have companion cells. These companion cells provide everything else that the phloem cells, so the sieve tubes, need to survive. So one key question that you might think about: what are the difference between xylem and phloem? Xylem cells are dead, phloem cells are alive. Phloem cells move things in both directions. Xylem cells only move things in one direction. Phloem cells move nutrients. Xylem cells move water. In vascular plants, roots are typically below the surface. So root hair cells are adapted for taking up water and mineral ions. They have large surface area that increases the surface that absorption can take place. They contain a large amount of mitochondria, so they can go and actively transport minerals out of the soil into the root. So water enters the plants via the roots. So the roots are adapted to this. And the way that water is entering them is by osmosis. So water is going from an area of high concentration around the root to an area of lower concentration within the root. So one thing that you might be asked to think about is to describe the function and adaptations of roots. The important one that you need to always mention is the fact that they're covered in root hair cells which have increased the surface area. If we go and look at this question, so plant roots absorb water from the soil by osmosis. So the plant root is adapted to this. Use the information in the diagram to explain this. So first thing, what is osmosis? This is where you've got water passing through a partially permeable membrane from an area of high concentration to a low concentration. And secondly, the plant root is adapted for absorbing water from the soil. Use the information from the diagram to explain this. So there are many hairs on it which increase the surface area. These hairs are only one cell thick, so there is a short diffusion distance. And There are many routes to increase the surface area, and it's worth talking about osmosis is how the water is entering the roots. The main role of the stem and the roots are to transport substances around. Right? They both have phloem and xylem within them. Within the stem, there are two main processes that we need to think about. So transpiration. So transpiration is the process where water is moving up the plant, so from the roots to the leaves. At the leaves, it evaporates and pulls water from the soil upwards. And translocation. So translocation is the process where the plant is moving nutrients, so the sugars that it's made in photosynthesis, around it. If we think about some of the things that could affect the rate of transpiration, it's basically anything that is going to increase evaporation. So if it's warmer, if it's windy, if there's a low humidity around the plant. So the diagram below shows a cross section of the root. The transport tissues are labelled. Phloem is involved in a process called translocation. So what is translocation? Simply is the movement of dissolved substances, nutrients or sugars around the plant, and explain why translocation is important to plants. So sugars are made in the leaves, so they need to be moved to other parts of the plant for respiration, storage and growth. Plant leaves are adapted for photosynthesis in a range of ways. So at the top they've got a waxy cuticle. This stops excess water from entering the leaf from above and stops it from becoming waterlogged. It's got a palisade layer, so these cells have lots of chloroplasts, so carry out lots of photosynthesis. This layer is found near the top of the leaf. The spongy mesophyll layer has got lots of rounded cells, so creates lots of large air spaces for gas exchange to take place. You've got guard cells at the bottom. These open and close the stomata, which are the holes leading into the leaf. You've got large air spaces, so carbon dioxide can diffuse in and oxygen can diffuse out. You've got lots of phloem, so phloem carry away the glucose made in photosynthesis, and xylem provide a good supply of water which is needed in photosynthesis. So if we look at this question, describe the function of layer A. So layer A is an upper epithelial layer. It's thin, so lots of light can get through. Same again with layer B. So layer B is made out of palisade cells. They have lots of chloroplasts and carry out lots of photosynthesis. And finally, layer C. Layer C is made out of these spongy mesophyll cells, which create large air spaces for gas exchange to take place. Another question is that figure 3 shows the underside of leaves A and B, taken from a plant in a man's house. So, first part, describe how the appearance of the stomata in B is different from A. So, quite simply, they're closed. And the second part is the man forgets to water the plant. What might happen to the plant in the next few days if the stomata stay the same as they are shown in figure A? So the plant would lose all of its water, so it would wilt and droop. Thanks for watching.